Okay, my name is Paige Spears. I'm 56 years old, and I'm guilty of first-degree robbery on criminal action. My victim name is Cindy. I was sentenced to life in prison plus 30 years, and I've been incarcerated for 30 years. Paige Spears was a guy at a young age was pretty much out of control. He lost all values and morals and principles that he had in his life. I started committing crimes at an early age, maybe like about 12 years old. My first armed robbery was at 16 years old, and I was certified and convicted and sent to prison at 16 years old. A short stint in prison, which was like 2 years, I was released, and I was out for a couple of years and reoffended with another robbery conviction. I was sentenced to 15 years. I did approximately 6 years on 15 years. I was released and was out approximately maybe 2 years a third time. And in 1988, I was convicted for the third time for first-degree robbery and on criminal action. I was sentenced to life in prison plus 30 years. What's different about my sentence versus the other offenders that I've came in contact with and through my personal research is that I'm the only person in the Missouri Department of Corrections with this type of sentence. My sentencing judge gave me life for the armed robbery and 30 years for the armed criminal action because the weapon was involved in the commission of my crime. And he ran my 30 years into my life sentence. And on top of the life sentence, he sentenced me up under the minimum mandatory law, which at the time was 50 years on a life sentence, which is mandatory 40 years that I would have to do out of my life. But in 1994, they changed that law. And when they changed the law, it didn't affect me, but it affected everyone else that came in after me after 1994 because they didn't make it retroactive. So therefore, if you come in today with a life sentence, the only thing you would have to do is 30 years or possibly get parole a lot sooner. But by me being sentenced up under the old law, the minimum mandatory law, it's mandatory that I do 40 years out of my life. So my first parole hearing is 2029, and that'll be right at 40 years of my incarceration before I even see the board. The first 8 years of my incarceration, it reminded me of that song Frank Sinatra, how he said he did it his way. For the first 8 years, I did it my way. I was involved in a lot of legal activities as I was when I was in society. Drug trafficking, running stores in prison, catching a lot of CDVs, in and out of the hole. Anything an offender possibly can do, while they're incarcerated illegally, I was involved in it. In 1995, I had a sister that got murdered, and we was really, really close. And she always wanted me to change my life. And that tragic brought a lot of light to me. And one day, I said to myself that I can't continue to live this lifestyle that I'm living if I ever want to walk out of prison someday.